It's the Wakia Show, brought to you by Cheerios. uh, it's been a while, and I've been going through some changes, uh, major changes. We all go through that, and so if you guys want to just send me some good energy in general, that'd be cool. I send good energy out all the time to all of you, so let's get a circular thing going here. Just, stuff that we run into every day that we have to deal with, and so I don't want to go into details. It's nothing like that serious, I don't think, but it has to do with moving and just family members having problems, and so but I won't go into it. I'll just say send me some good energy. Now, having got that out of the way, because that's where I've been just kind of like, sometimes I use splatter vision on. I'll look at the Campfire Council or what's being said on there, and I'm a speed reader. I'm a writer, and I can also just look at a page and see exactly what it is. I go through books. You wouldn't believe the books I read in a week, because I can speed read and I can retain it all. So I'll look at, let's say, okay, let me preface this. Let me stop right here, because I'm going to talk about conversations, okay, and things like that. Now, let me preface this with saying, I'll give you a story about an old friend of mine. He was a bass player, and we were in the same band together and everything, and my wife and I knew him really well, and we were all good friends, and we'd get into these conversations sometimes, and sometimes my wife and I would be talking back and forth to one another, and it wasn't that we were ignoring. His name was Lou, black guy with a big afro, just a great person. But if he thought we weren't listening to him or something like that, he would just do something like pull a loaf of bread off the table, throw it down on the floor, and just proceed to stomp up and down on it till it was friggin' flat. And we'd look at each other, and we'd look at him, and we'd go, holy shit, Lou. Okay, what is it that you want? Okay, so having said that, if we can forgive that guy for doing that, you can forgive me for saying any fucking thing. Okay? Now, having said that, I look at conversations like on the Campfire Council, and I look at the big picture. I talk about it all the time. I talk about seeing things from the eye of a hawk. And even though I'm not participating sometimes or doing a video or posting or whatever, doesn't mean I don't watch things like a hawk, okay? And I do, just because I want to. Now, if I use splatter vision, like I say, I see a conversation going on about one of my videos, or some conversation started up on Campfire Council or whatever, I just use splatter vision, and I just look at the whole energy of the whole statement all at once. Okay? And I can tell right away whether I want to actually go through the whole thing and read it word by word, or if it's just something that not as bad, just doesn't fit into my concept of what we should be talking about or whatever. But I have my own concepts, and you guys have your own concepts, and that's cool. But that doesn't mean that Thunder isn't going to say something. I mean, you can do whatever the frick you want to do. Doesn't mean I'm not going to say something about it, because that's who I am. I'm a truth teller and a wisdom keeper. Back in the 60s, we had this saying, reel it in, dude. And we'd say that when somebody was like, we'd all be sitting around and we might be stoned or whatever, and somebody would go off on this wild. We usually just have conversation with each other and shoot the shit and sit around a campfire on the beach or whatever. And everybody kind of knew where everybody was coming from, unless we were tripping. And that's what it's called too, tripping. No, somebody would go off on this wild tangent and start talking about something. It was like, well, yeah, I mean, if we really wanted to get into it, we could follow. But what are you talking about? You're out there, dude. Reel it in, we'd say. Reel it in. Be moderate. Get back here with the rest of us people. So, just making a point, doing a little parable of the 60s about how we can all do that way. And maybe I get out there on these videos and you guys want to say, reel it in, Thunder, you're getting out there. That's cool. You don't have to listen to a goddamn thing I say. Seriously. You don't have to even watch the video if you don't like it. Just boom, turn it off. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I think the Campfire Council has great potential. I mean, there's some great people in here so far, but let's talk about substantive stuff. Let's talk about, the community. And let's talk, okay, it's good to get to know one another. But it's not Facebook. This isn't a social website. This is a sacred website or a sacred community. Okay? And it's a community where we don't step on other people's toes and we don't have to say anything where somebody would say in a conversation, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't know, am I doing something wrong? And somebody said that about something I said lately. I won't mention any names, but you can take people totally wrong. Okay? So that's why it's good to try to be as cohesive and lucid, as possible, even though your ideas may be way, way out there. Get my drift? So people can understand, they don't take it the wrong way. Talk in a reverential manner. And have reverence for the person you're talking to. That's important. And now I got 2 or 3 friends, and I have to take age into consideration too, because I'm an old fart, I guess, but wise. But I have a lot of young friends, like let's say in the 21, I know women and men, and I've hung out with them because they like hanging out with Thunder. And I teach some of them the martial arts. I'm training an army guy right now that went through training, and he's going, shit, they never showed me this stuff. And I've got friends. What I'm trying to say here is I've got friends in that genre, that age set, and all kinds of age sets. And so I see them, I see what kind of trips they're on. I got one good friend, I won't mention his name because he might be watching the video. But you'll figure out who I'm talking about. He was, now these people are really spiritual, don't get me wrong. They're really spiritual, and they're into a lot of deep things that, hell, I might not even been into it. I mean, they're talking about the universe and Gaia, and I have other names for it, but it's okay. And they're talking about, different, they'll go out into the alien thing, and they'll go everywhere, and then they'll go into the chakras, and they'll go into and they talk like boom, 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 and they act real spiritual, and they are, for their age, they're real spiritual. But sometimes it gets too much in the head, dreamy, and not enough grounding. Get my drift here? Because all the martial arts are, the premise is grounding yourself. Okay, and when you ground yourself into Mother Earth, you move a little bit more slower and you're a little bit more smoother, and you got those roots, and you're grounded into something, and you know what you want to say and you say it. Let's say that, let's just take this as an example. Let's say Thunder sees somebody on the site and I like them. I might like them on a male-female type level. I might like, yeah, I'd like to talk to her or whatever. If I want to talk to her, I'll get her email. That's as simple as that. If I want to get down with whatever, I know what it's like. If I want to get down with making an impression or doing whatever you're going to do with women or trying to hook up with them, I'll just get their email or their phone number right away. And if they don't give it to me, well, then I guess I wasn't meant to get hooked up with them. Okay? That's the way I operate, not out on some social network or out in the community or whatever. Okay? That's all good, though. I'm not trying to make anything bad here. I'm not trying to make flirtation bad. Flirtation's good. It's good. I like flirtatious shit. I like tantra. I like sex. I like the whole ball of wax. But I've learned to keep things kind of sacred and reverential. I come from a sacred space with sex and everything. Everything's spiritual to me. So any word we say, anything we do, any off the hand comment we make to somebody, whether it's on a conversation or not, you got to look at each sentence. If you write 40 sentences and you're just splattering stuff all over the friggin' page, you got to take each sentence out and look at it and say, is that offensive? Is this, you know what I'm saying? Because people take shit the wrong way. And that's the way we should be. We should be reverential and make sure that we're not just spouting off a bunch of stuff that the person could take the wrong way, or just talking so fast that we need to reel it in just a little bit, just reel it in. Doesn't have anything to do with liking or disliking. Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with that. I love everybody that's in here, all the members, bar none. I accept them all, but does that mean that I'm not going to sit here and do a video and talk about things that I see through my third eye that is like, okay, does this have substance? Does it have substance? Or is it just a bunch of like throwing words at a wall or throwing paint at a wall and seeing what sticks or whatever? Does it support the group? Does it uplift the group? Does it inform the group? Does it embrace the group? You know, and when I think about it, I wouldn't even mind if somebody came on here and said, hey, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. I want to hook up with you. I want to get down with you. Can you give me your email? I don't mind seeing that even. Just get their email. You know, like in the old days, get their phone number, write it down on a matchbook cover. Maybe I'm totally off base in what I'm saying right now, but this could apply to anybody in any situation, so I'll just make it universal. People should act this way universally. Have reverence for one another, talk to one another on a I have reverence for you basis, and not just spew out a bunch of words without substance. And I think I know what substance is at this age with, with my background being a writer. And when you write, you have to make things, you have to put substance, and you have to take all those things into consideration so you can get your point across. See what I'm saying? It's like a painting. It's like you want to get your point across, and so you have to use words the best way that you can so that nobody at all goes, where the fuck's that coming from? I can't figure that. What's he saying, or what's she saying, or what's, it should be just, what if you wrote a book like that? Okay. What if you wrote a book where you just put a bunch in it and they were scratching their heads going, that could mean several different things. So let's jump out of that mode, because I know I'm already in big trouble. The way I look at it, this is the way I look at it, and I'll just be honest with you. This community, I want people in here that want to be in here, but if they take offense to something I say, or they say, I don't like what Thunder's saying, or he's too overbearing, or whatever, and I don't want to think he's talking to me, or whatever. If you don't find this group comfortable and you're not kindred, and I conceived this thing because on a wisdom keeper type, sacred type, we're in serious times, so we need a little bit of that preparedness. And sure, we want to have fun, we want to explore all kinds of different areas, but let's keep it with, let's be moderate. Be moderate, understanding, loving, kind. Because you can do the frivolous stuff on Facebook. You can do it on this ain't Facebook. It ain't Facebook. Don't want to be Facebook, don't want to be anything near Facebook. We're not just a frivolous, let's post a bunch of shit up there, So anybody that doesn't want to, that can leave. I don't care if it's just me sitting here. The Campfire Council, Thunder Hands and the Campfire, that ain't never going to happen, because there's always going to be somebody that drifts in that's kindred. And if they're not kindred, they'll leave. Kindred means you have things in common. You're on the same wavelength. You're on the same path. You're on the red road. And so it doesn't matter to me. I don't give a shit if there's nobody in the Campfire Council. You can all leave. But I love you all, so the ones that want to stay here and listen to Thunder, and as long as I'm around on the planet, after that you can make a Campfire Council after Thunder and change all the complete meanings of everything that I ever said. Just like they did with Yeshua and Buddha. You can form a religion, the thunderous religion, or whatever. I don't care. I won't be here. But I'll tell you, if I can see it from another plane and another level, like Yeshua probably can, or Buddha, and they're up there going, that's what I'll be doing if you do that. I'll tell you what this group is about. It's about the precepts that are on the thing right next to this video, or wherever this is going to pop up. The prospectus of the organization, what we're doing here, we're trying to educate people, and we're trying to get people in the group. And I noticed in a conversation, some people in this community were talking to somebody outside the community. They didn't even invite them in. They didn't say, are you in the Campfire Council? And if you're not in the Campfire Council, I invite you to come in. And you know who you are. If you're not in here and you converse with the people in here, I invite you to come in. It's friendly here. Thunder just gets on his soapbox every once in a while and feels like he has to Say something. Okay, so let's jump to the world thing. I'm just saying in general people need to reel it in. Be more moderate, not use it. Doesn't take a lot of words to speak truth. You know? I can say things in a 30-minute video that would take other people, or I can convey things that would take other people 3-4 hours to convey. So you may think I'm using a lot of words, but I'm not, because this 30-minute video is worth like a 4-hour video. To me it is. And the energy behind it, and the caring, and the whatever. But the world situation is like, wow, today, February, what is today? I don't know, 7th, 8th? I'm losing track of time here. Just look down there, it'll say the date. Looks like there's a bunch of meetings going on, doesn't it? With this group here over in Europe and Russia and Holland, or whatever his name is, and Merkel, and they're all meeting up, and they're all talking about peace again. You know, I'm leery of talks, aren't you? Here we go with words again. This fits right into my subject, doesn't it? People talk a lot. They have a lot of meetings. You notice that, these politicians? Yap, 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 yap. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I think this latest meeting, if I'm not wrong, was actually Putin's plan. He's got a plan. And Merkel and Holland, or whatever. What is it? Holland? I'll just say Holland. Hollande, or whatever his name is, the French guy, president, premier, whatever the fuck he is. But it seems like the overtures might be there with Russia, which, geez, wouldn't that be nice? What if this is, I could see it all breaking apart. But you can't put faith in these meetings, because these politicians get together and have meetings every, 2 weeks. This is a major meeting, a major summit, every 2 friggin' weeks. In the old days, when you had a major summit, it lasted years. Now we got to have them every friggin' 2 weeks. Is that to make them look like they're doing something that they're not? I don't know. You tell me. I've seen them make lots of talks and make lots of peace plans and the Minsk agreements and all that stuff, but they never follow through with it. It's just a stopgap for a little bit. They do the same thing in Israel and Palestine and all that stuff. Yeah, we're going to have a meeting. We're going to go to a meeting, man. Really? I don't want to see a bunch of talk. I want to see action. I want to see action. I look at the big picture. I just want to see action. I don't want to see a bunch of friggin' talk. And those talks, if they decide something, they should be implemented like that, overnight. Boom. Just like, a lot of things could happen overnight. Just like if Russia decides that it wants to end this all, they could go in there with their Su-35s and their advanced weaponry and their jamming techniques and their on-the-ground forces and the whole bit. They could take Ukraine in like a day. The whole thing. 2 days. With the technology they have and the military might they could go in there and straighten that mess out in 2 friggin' days. Of course, they'd catch hell for it. They would be the aggressor then. But they could go in there right now and just take that government out, that corrupt government. They could take NATO out. They could take everybody out. I got news for you. And that could happen. It could get to that, but it looks like right now we're in a lull, another lull. We're in a like la 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 la. Lots of people dying still, but we're talking. Yap 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 yap. Chatter 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 chatter. Chatter 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 chatter. I went into a museum one time and they had a sculptor in there and it had a little speaker in the guy's mouth, and it was this person standing there, and it went chatter, 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 chatter. It was funny because that sums it up, doesn't it? Chatter, chatter. People talk a big friggin' game, and they talk a lot of bullshit, and then it never follows through with it. These politicians. Don't talk a big game and not follow through with it. Don't have a bunch of friggin' meetings that are peace talks to stall. Last time they had a peace talk, what happened? It stalled. It gave Kiev time to regroup and get forces in place to continue their onslaught and make new plans and get more lethal weapons and all that stuff. While they're talking, people are playing. While the cat's away, the mice will play. And the cats are Putin and Merkel and them, they're having a meeting. But while they're having a meeting, and to bring Poroshenko in there, which I think they did, I don't know if they did or not, you tell me, make comments. This is what you want to comment on and talk about. Not bullshit. Make some comments on what you think's going on, like you're a fly on the wall. Or why would they bring Poroshenko in? I mean, he doesn't even fit into the class of Merkel, and he's bought and paid for. Of course, they all are. But what I'm saying is it hardly seems fitting to bring him into a meeting with the heads of France and Russia and Germany. This guy that doesn't even have any friggin' money and that was put in there as a puppet. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say today because I don't know. I might not even put this in there, but I will. You know me. I'm a glutton for punishment, aren't I? This is Thunder. Hope you get something out of these videos because, man, this one was hard to do. I'm in a space in my life right now where you might not hear another one for a week. Okay. I know you're all just, well, I know some people will miss me, but the rest of you probably going, yeah, big deal, another week. Then we got to listen to you again. All right, I'm out of here. This is Thunder. Adios, amigos and amigas.